So this is my green chill hand and field destruction deck. I notice I have a considerable amount of destroy cards in this deck, so it's a combination of hand and field destruction. One of the things is when you're using effects that target your opponent's hand and affects their hands, it makes them want to play more cards on the field, and then you have cards that can get rid of cards on the field. So that right there gives you a lot of control. Obviously, the leader for this deck is Chilled, and he's a token generator. Whenever he attacks, he makes a 10,000 attacker token, Chilled army token. So that gives you something you can attack with, obviously, and you can keep doing it every turn you attack. When he awakens, during your turn, he gets 5k extra, only during your turn. So he's a 15,000 your turn. And then when he attacks, you draw a card and you put a token. So of course, draw power is always important, and you're making tokens. And of course, you can attack with the tokens, which will more likely force your opponent to block. And when of course when they block, they're using cards from the hand or field to block, and that automatically gives you the ability to destroy their hand or their field, right? Especially when you get a token from attacking and you play a card to destroy something on the field. For example, like Enrage, not Enrage Gohan, father-son Kamehameha, or family Kamehameha, and destroy something. Obviously it's very useful, but being able to play something like Self-Absorption to get rid of 2 cards from the hand, so that way they can't block or have less cards in the hand to block with, so they will have to either use cards on the field or whatever's left in the hand to try to block. And of course, it's not a bad idea, obviously, to attack their battle cards, and then use the cards to make them discard from their hands to make them discard from their hands. Especially if you use cards in your hands to make them discard from their hand. If you use cards to make them discard cards from their hands, and then attack their battle cards that are rested, of course, to get rid of them. So that way you can clear the hand and the field in the process. So that way they end up top decking, and then you can start going for the leader when you have a pretty good board. We're using the Broly engine. Obviously, Broly Dawn of Rampage. You play them, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and if there's a green Broly among them, add that to your hand, then shuffle your deck. He's a green Broly because his character is Broly. Rampage in Life Form Bio Broly is a Broly because his character is a Broly, and he's a 5-drop. You can evolve him using a Broly in play, and then he has Double Strike, which is always good. The ability to deal 2 damage with 1 attack is always good. And then Auto, when this card evolves using the Broly card, right? You choose 2 cards from your opponent chooses cards from the hand and places them to the graveyard. So your opponent gets to choose 2 cards he discards. But right there, you get rid of 2 cards from the hand. Especially if what you do is you summon, you play the Broly Dawn, right? And then search the top 7 cards of your deck, and you get the Rampage and Broly. And then later on, when you attack with the Broly, and let's say you boost, so you can make him like a 15k or 20k or whatever. Sometimes just making him 10k is enough, just to get your opponent to want to guard, to block. And since they used up a card from their hand or even field, but you want them to use from the hand mostly. If they use it from the hand, even better. Use a card from the hand to block. Then If you have the energy, then you can summon Rampage and Life Form Bio Broly by evolving from that Broly. Or if you have enough, you could just summon Rampage, Life Form Bio Broly regular, and then you'll be able to use his effect to make your opponent discard. Well, you have to evolve in order to get that effect, so obviously use Broly to evolve. Can't forget that. Use them to evolve, and then now they have to discard 2 cards from their hands. Then you can attack with this Bio Broly, and since it's 20k, if you decide to boost, they'll have to block if they need to block, especially since he's a double strike, he'll deal 2 damage, so they might want to block, or they might want to take the 2 damage because they're trying to awaken. It's like, alright, well, let them awaken, right, and you'll just take advantage of getting rid of those 2 cards later, or with your next attack. Let's say you have energy power gold tanks on the field, and you can attack with that and make them lose one of those cards they just added to their hand, and then if they want to block, they have to use the other card they added to the hand, to try to block. So you want to keep putting them in a position where they feel they need to block, or they have to block. You definitely want to put them in that position. And of course, with the leader making tokens, making 10k tokens that you can attack and force them into using their hands a lot, obviously it fits the strategy, which is to destroy their hands, to make their hands less playable, because they have to give up stuff just so they can try to stay in the game, so they don't get KO'd early. Then of course we have energy power gold tanks. 15k. When this card attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it into the drop area, and that would be before they get to combo. So if they don't negate this attack, they're going to have to discard a card from the hand, and then if you boost, they might have to block, which means that's another card they're using. So that's 2 cards right there, and one of the cards they didn't even get to use to even defend or block. So that's, you definitely want to have that type of pressure. Then we got Rampage and Attacker Vegeta. You got Double Strike, 20k, magic number, right? He has counter attack. You can play this card from your hand, which means you have to pay his cost to play him. Some people think you pay 1 to do the boost thing and the combo thing, and you'll get his effect. It's like, no, counter attack, play this card from your hand by paying 4, 2 green, 2 of anything. Then you get the auto ability. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost 4 or less and KO it. This is a good way to surprise attack your opponent. You will of course still get this effect if you just regular summon him on your turn, but the ability to counter attack and surprise your opponent, like haha, surprise, I was able to kill something while we're in combat, very useful. It's like having a extra card, or a extra full power energy or something like that, right? But in general, you can play it and get a full energy boosted Beatles type of effect. So obviously that's a good card. Double Strike, already mentioned, deal 2 damage from 1 single attack. Is always good, especially when you pressuring your opponent, making him lose very little, losing cards from his hand, so that we can get that Double Strike attack through there and hit him hard and take him down, because you want to take him from 5 damage quickly down to 3 or less damage, and then trying to finish him off. Then we got full power Vegeta, 15k, 3 drop, 2 green, 1 of anything. Auto, when you play this card, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards with energy costs of 2 or less, for which the total cost adds up to 3 or less and KO them. So it's a good way of board wiping, especially a lot of cheap costing blockers. Being able to get rid of cards on the field is good, because then they won't be able to use them to boost from the field. That means they have to use cards from their hands, which is good because this deck loves to, you know, target the hand. So by clearing some stuff off the field, forces them to have to play cards from the hand in order to block, in order to defend when you know, start declaring attacks. And that's just forcing more hand destruction abilities, more hand control. So you're definitely trying to force them into that. Then we have Martial Expert Tian Shenhan. 3 cost, 2 green, 1 of anything. Auto at the end of the battle, after you comboed with this card from your hand, if your leader card is green, you could play this card. Your leader is not green, your leader is yellow, so you won't get that ability. Activate main. Choose 1 card in your life and place it into the drop area. Then choose 1 card in your life and add it to your hand. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO that card, which is really good. It's like another energy boosted boost, you know what I mean? So it's a way of getting rid of something on the field that's problematic, as well as hitting your life for 2 cards. 1 will go to the discard pile, that won't go to your hand, and this will help you awaken, because being able to obviously still make tokens but also get a draw on top of it's always good. So being able to self-awaken is very useful, and you want a way to awaken in case your opponent's trying to stall you, trying to prevent you from awakening, and they're getting close to awakening, or you know, they did awaken, you want to awaken too, right? So that's mainly what he's in the deck for, is that that ability to use him to awaken and to get rid of any problematic card on the field, which is always useful. Then we have Sun Goten, Family of Justice, which can be splashed into any deck if you use them specifically to combo with from your hand. But in this deck you can summon him. He's a 10k 2-drop. But if you use him during your turn, when you combo with him, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 3 or less, and then KO them. So it's definitely is good as a card from your hand, like an extra card. You can treat it like an extra card if you mainly play it from your hand. But in this deck you can summon it, so there's benefit to that in case you need a 10k attacker. But you'll mainly use them from your hand to get that extra 5k boost, as well as getting rid of your opponent's cards. Most blockers are 3 or less, you know. Most problematic cards are 3 or less, especially if you want to get rid of something that can evolve, like you want to prevent your opponent from evolving from like a Broly to a Bio Broly, you know. Then you can use Sun Goten to get rid of that Broly, Dawn of the Rampage, right? So make it harder for them to go into Rampage in life form Bio Broly by evolving, right? So that's a couple of tactics you can do with that, obviously. Then we have, of course, I mentioned before, Cell Absorption. 4 costs, 2 green, 2 of anything. Active main. The opponent chooses 2 cards from their hands and then places them into the drop area. This is obviously really good to be able to play this before you even declare any attacks. But then when you do declare attacks, you could be using stuff like energy power gold tanks, you know, in order to pressure your opponent to make him use his hand more. Then we have Enraged Gohan Awakening, Counter Attack. So this is one of your defensive cards. Place one card from your hand into the drop area. Choose one of your opponent's attacking battle cards and KO it. So that's very useful when your opponent attacks, and then you can use this to destroy that attacking creature. Attacking battle card. Then we have Family Kamehameha. Active, cost 1 green to play. Choose up to one opponent battle card with an energy cost 2 or less and KO that card. So this is a card to help you get rid of any problematic blockers, especially if you're trying to go for game. You don't want them to have a blocker. You don't want them to have anything on the field that they can use to boost. Mainly, you want to force them to boost from their hand. So that's why getting rid of anything on the field is important. But definitely want to get rid of any blockers. Father Son Kamehameha, 1 green, active main. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost larger than or equal to the amount of total energy that they have, and KO it. So this is a good cheap card that can help you get rid of pretty big threats. Because if someone spent 6 energies to summon to play a battle card, it's probably going to be pretty strong, pretty problematic card, and be able to pay 1 green energy on your turn to get rid of it. So that way the energy you have left over can be used to play your own creature, your own battle cards, and attack and stuff like that. Is always useful. And then full power energy, 1 green, counter attack, negate an attack. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 1 or less, and then KO them. Obviously, help you get rid of anything that could be used as for boosting or anything, or any 1-drop blockers. Obviously, nice. Cheap removal spells is always good. And then 2, Broly the Rampaging Horror. Just needed something to fill up the slot, and of course he goes with the whole hand destroying aspect of the deck, and you can evolve him using Broly, so why not? He can evolve from a Broly for 4 green, 1 of anything. He has double stripe, which is always good to be able to do 2 damage for 1 attack. Auto, when you play this card, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand and have your opponent place them into the graveyard. Which, what's good about this Broly, of course, is you get to choose the 2 cards, and it's up to 2, so they don't have to have 2 in their hands. Specifically, it's up to 2, so you can discard 1, none, but of course you'll want to discard at least 1, right? 1 or 2 at max, because it benefits you. There's no reason not to use the effect. And then he's a 30k. Not much to say there, right? And that's the end of the video.